Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition, another version, another episode of Bill Rhoden On Sports here in Harlem, USA, with my co-host Jamal Murphy. Jamal Murphy, what's happening today?
As always, great to be here, and we're back. We're almost in week 2 of the NFL.
That's right.
Can you believe it? It's Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh, yeah. For me, at least.
Oh, you mean
Christmas?
Because I was saying as we were talking about the show and what to do, we were talking about the issues and all that. I said, well, man, let's talk football, man, because it's been just It seems like it's been forever, So finally the season's here, So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. We got the NFL season here, a lot of protests. Many of them from Jets fans. Not even had nothing to do with the flag, the team.
Right. I think that's Obama's fault too.
What?
That first loss. I think they're blaming Obama for that.
Why?
Just to do it.
Oh, why not? Why not? That's right. Right. That's right. That's how I feel. Yeah, man. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about the NFL season. Obviously, the protests continue. The protests continue thanks to Colin Kaepernick. And then we're going to talk about a very important opening down in D.C. next week. So we're going into week 2 of the NFL season. In fact, I think you and the crew, the podcast crew, Raisa Kelly, Kevin Keating, our sound guy, you were out at MetLife Stadium for the opening day fiasco with the Jets. And then last night, Jets kind of evened it up. Right. We'll be at MetLife Stadium. We're going to be there for, I don't know how this is going to play out because we went by people. Well, no, this is coming up.
Right. Sunday, Giants, Saints.
Yeah, Giants, Saints.
1-0.
Yeah, and it could be, probably will be 2-0 after this.
Probably. Saints won the first game. Drew Brees, who knows how old he is, but he's still playing, still throwing touchdowns.
Right.
They put up a lot of points. But the Giants had a good win at Dallas without Romo. They got Dak Prescott,
that's
brother,
right.
Rookie
like
quarterback.
He looks good, man.
I liked him in college.
Yeah, he now they're gonna say Russell Wilson because they're the same size and all that, but he kind of reminds me of that's such a cliche.
Right.
I'm trying to think of who. What am I gonna say? Johnny Manziel. Oh, he reminds me of Johnny Manziel. But no, but he seems to have the winning instincts.
Right.
He just kind of knows
right.
how to make stuff happen.
Right.
Like Tom Brady, but
right.
I can't compare him to Tom Brady because they lost.
Right.
And typically, I was curious. Okay, Brady is going to miss what, 2 games?
3 more.
Three more games.
3 more games.
3 more games. And they'll probably be 4-0.
Right. Garoppolo, he looked really good. Looked good against Arizona. Made big plays. Maybe he'll take Brady's job. Yeah. Maybe a Bledsoe deal.
Right. Oh no, no. I'll tell you where is a Bledsoe deal is in Dallas.
Right.
In Dallas.
Oh, that's a Bledsoe deal.
That's going to be a Bledsoe deal because
right.
I think, I'm listening. Dallas fans, and Kyle Dudley, who's a friend of the show, comes on the show. His twin brother, Kevin.
Right.
Kevin, you listen to me? Just
don't tell me he's a Cowboy fan.
Oh, just unbelievable.
Oh my.
What do they call?
So many of those.
What do they call? And they act like these guys. They act like the Cowboys are just coming off like a championship.
Right.
Every year is like the Cowboy. And the network puts them on all the time. And
they get those 8-8 championship years. Consistently.
Right. But any surprises? Any surprises for you? The first,
not so much a surprise, but one of the big things that I took from week 1 was Jameis Winston's performance. A great game, threw a bunch of touchdowns, over 300 yards, poised, looked like a real legit quarterback. He had a good rookie year, so it's not a big surprise. But this, that's a great way to start your second season. So I expect big things from Jameis Winston. From all reports, he's been a great leader. He's in shape this year, lost a lot of weight. So it's looking good for Jameis. Mm-hmm. And so, not a big surprise, but Tampa Bay got a win. Going back to the Jets, yes, they won last night. They lost week 1, obviously, to Cincinnati.
Man, the Bills got to do something about those uniforms, man. Those all red uniforms.
Yeah, and I think, is it about a wrap for Rex?
No. Oh, clearly.
Is it over for him?
It's pretty much over. I mean, I think unless he goes makes the playoffs and wins a couple games.
No,
it's done. It's done. He'll be
so
back.
in other words, it's a wrap.
Yeah, he'll be back to being an assistant.
Yeah, I see defensive coordinator in his future.
That's right. That's right.
He'll be a great one. He'll be a great.
He'll be a great defensive coordinator.
But the head coach thing,
Hey, listen, all you could ask for is an opportunity.
Right.
And he got an opportunity.
A couple.
Yeah, he's got big opportunities.
Right.
With the Jets, and then and I think the Jets do have a very good team. I mean, I think they've got a very good offense. Provided what's the name doesn't get hurt.
Fitzpatrick and Brandon Marshall had a scare last night. He went down with a knee injury. I thought it looked bad. He comes in the next series, so that was like a Paul Pierce moment for him. But the Jets look great, especially offensively. The funny thing is the defense that's been faltering, and really the secondary, and really Darrelle Revis.
Oh boy,
they don't really have a shutdown corner anymore. He's pretty much seemed to admit it that he's getting old, and that's what happens. I mean, people are like, oh, in 2009 he was a shutdown corner. It's 7 years from that.
You don't realize it. I mean, and all these sports that we cover, these are games of the body.
Right.
I mean, it's not like in education or these things when every year supposedly you get better, you get wiser, more. As you get older, you get wiser, they say. But in sports, it's the exact opposite. Every year, it's just one less tick.
Right.
One less tick.
Especially a cornerback. I mean, it's based on speed, and
right.
I mean, he's getting. They're going after him. He got burned for about an 80-yard touchdown in the first or second drive of the game against Buffalo. It was pretty sad.
Right.
I'm seeing a bunch of memes with Revis with the Jordan crying face. That's never a good sign.
The Jordan crying. Yeah. Maybe it's time for him to move inside. Maybe he's going to be because that's what happens. Old cornerbacks never die; they just go to safety.
Yeah.
So maybe
we know he's a smart player, so that
that'd be good. Put him in free safety or something like that, or maybe he just may decide to retire. But
he made enough money.
Yeah,
smart. He was very smart.
Oh, he's a very wise guy. No question about it. But you can't talk about this stuff. We keep talking about football, but you can't. Two things right now that you're talking about when you talk about the NFL and football. You're talking about protests, but you're talking about hard hits.
Right.
Hits. And, we saw Cam Newton take it. I mean, just a ferocious beating that was unpunished. I mean, when they played, I think they opened up against Denver. I mean, Cam was just getting punished, man.
Right.
And there were no calls. Now I see they're being fines, but I wonder what's up with that. I mean, I wonder. I know what's up with that.
Right.
But they're not protecting. The league is clearly not protecting him. I don't know if it's because he's bigger and black.
Right.
Because he didn't really take a hard line against with the American flag. He didn't really come out in strong support of Kaepernick. Right. I don't know.
That might be why they hit him.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe these because all the defensive linemen for the most part brothers and linemen.
Right.
So
maybe
I
don't see them kneeling either. So I don't know what they can be complaining. There's only a handful of people
who are
doing it. But the Cam Newton thing, I'm watching the game and I'm seeing him getting drilled and head-to-head collisions, and I'm thinking to myself, didn't they change the rules, or didn't I hear something about that? They were protecting players and quarterbacks, especially now. It didn't look like it.
Even goes back to Michael Vick.
Right.
And there still seems to be this double standard with quote unquote mobile running, / black quarterbacks that we're going to treat you like running backs.
Right.
And I mean, I just find it fascinating. In 2016, there's still this like resistance to what's inevitable. I mean, it's just inevitable. Maybe it kind of gets into why Trump is being so successful, because the inevitability of the changing demographics and people just this kind of last gasp of protecting the status quo.
Right.
But people give it up. It's over. It's over. It's over.
Well, it's not over. It's not over for Cam, obviously, because he's still getting those hits. To me, it was a miracle he stayed in the game, and to me, I gave him my respect for Cam Newton went to the roof based on him just finishing that game. I couldn't believe it. And then on the other side, people are looking at the team in the league like, wait a second, there's no way he didn't get a concussion on one of those hits. Where's the protocol?
Right. Well, look at what happened last night in the Buffalo game. They took out Tyrod Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I guess it was the protocol.
Right.
Now, I guess if they just see you laying down on the ground too long,
motionless.
You're motionless.
that's always a problem.
Let me ask you something. I mean, you're a big, maybe because you went to A&T and you don't care. You're moral compass. But I mean, but seriously, we were talking about how excited we are for the new football season, which it is. Right. I mean, I like the game. It's a great game. Mm-hmm. But morally, how do you reconcile, loving the game? And we joke about scraping people off the turf. I mean, and you got your son. And it's maybe in the next 6 years you may want to play football. But how do you reconcile liking this stuff?
I mean, it was my first love. I remember watching football, and I would play football by myself with a teddy bear as a football and throw myself around the house and pretend to get tackled. It's just, I think there's something about football that just attracts, especially boys from a young age, the helmets and all that kind of stuff.
You stutter when you said that because you don't want to be so politically correct. You don't think there are girls who are like throwing themselves around the house?
Maybe there are, Maybe I would promote that. Please, girls, play football. It's all good. But I mean, but it's just people love the game, and the moral part of it is you do kind of know what you're getting into, and I agree with what Solomon Wilcott said when he was here a couple weeks ago. Was the league actually had they were forced to, and I'm not saying the league is some of high moral character. They were basically forced to do this.
The league is now. I distinguish the game, which I really enjoy, versus the administration of the game.
Right.
At the NFL level, at the college level. I mean, you're talking about two organizations that are all about the money, all about the shield, but the game itself, the game that they administer,
right,
is an it's an outstanding game,
right, and it has cleaned up, and you can't go headhunting, like safeties can't go headhunting for wide receivers. They've cleaned it up a bit. And
that's unfortunate. As a former defensive back, I missed that. I missed that part of it.
But that, when you think about it, it used to be brutal. I mean, you see hits like you see a hit now, like we did against Cam Newton, and that's the kind of hit we used to see.
That was the norm.
10 years ago was the norm, and now we're like, it's like shocking. It's like, whoa, what's going on? So it has played an effect on all of us and fans too. Now we want that flag. Like, what's going on here? Protect this guy.
Right. Well, but you want it if it's your guy. You don't want it your guy. You want him to knock his brains in the middle of. And people still, I mean, you watch there and you watch these hits, and they're still like, whoa.
Right, and the skill involved. I mean, it's still a great game. I still, like we talked about before, football is king, and everybody loves football, including all people, love football, whether no matter what side you're on politically, as we can see through what's going on here.
Well, yeah, I mean no matter what you feel. I forgot who I was talking to. Donald Trump. Obama, I think he may have gotten 1% of the vote
among football fans
in Alabama,
right.
But yet when Alabama, plays, those people will watch Alabama with all the black players and all the game trumps. The game trumps.
Right.
Sorry.
Half of football fans are a basket of deplorables. Yeah. I think I heard that somewhere. I stole that one. So that goes for about half of football fans too. So, and like I said, I love football too. So, but I'm not disparaging all football fans, just about half of them.
Right. But it's interesting. So the other thing that we can't talk about now, we talk about football, are the protests.
Right.
And there's some interesting things. I mean, it's now almost becoming every week like a scoreboard of who's standing up. I had an interesting conversation with. I'm thinking about buying a car, by the way, because anyway.
It's about time.
It is. Well, what?
I mean,
my Mustang.
Didn't it just break down?
It did. The Mustang just.
For the second time.
Second time.
Right.
That's right, because we were supposed to do a podcast,
right.
And I had to text you.
Emergency.
Oh yeah, it's big capital letters, man. What are you reading? Is this like a millennial thing?
No, I'm just checking to make sure no breaking news right now.
All right, it's distracting.
I'm sorry.
No, Jamal. No, this is a millennial thing. I have to No, you're not a millennial.
I'll take it though.
Yeah. No, you have to watch for the news flash and shit. No, I texted just for the people. So I'm in my Ford Mustang convertible, which anybody who's got a convertible, I mean, I will always have a convertible. And I'm on my way. We're doing our podcast and the whole thing. And I just got the Mustang out the shop. To get a new engine and the whole thing. And then at night at 72nd and West End, the smoke starts.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. And then the rain starts. Then the storm. When the car breaks down, and then like monsoons and tornadoes, and your battery is dead on your phone,
right?
And the AAA number is wrong. It's like everything. And I just had this reading by this astrologer in California. And she was, I know you can't, Ursula, she's very good. But she was just, sometimes these planets start moving. So when shit starts going awry, just remember Saturn is moving into Mars or something like that.
Okay.
So just take a deep breath, because that's why it's just going haywire. But I did have time. I had enough battery power to tell you and the crew,
right?
Emergency. But I said, okay, all right, we're going straight to the new car dealership now.
Seriously, yeah. You can't play with that. I had to give you a call. I was worried. I was like, wait, hopefully didn't get, you didn't break down in East Flatbush and Brooklyn. Oh. Luckily, you were in Manhattan. You made it back to Manhattan.
No, and the West Side,
right.
People kind of like, I had to get out the car because Manhattan, and it was like Friday. What day was it? It was like Thursday, Friday,
Wednesday.
But people here in Manhattan, man, they'll give you like a millisecond before the horn start honking, and I had to get tell the guy back at me. And this guy, the white guy, he was kind of laughing.
Right.
But fortunately, I was able to turn the car back on. It was a radiator leak. Mm-hmm. And it dawned on me, and I know that this is not car talk.
We're bringing that back.
You watch with Flick and Flag.
My father used to listen to that all the time.
I love that show. That was a great Flick and Flag. But we're not going down that road. But just the reason I mentioned that, I was at the car dealership, and this guy who was helping me was a really good guy. But he was a captain in the Army. He'd been I ran the whole thing. And so I asked him, "What do you think about, the protest?" Mm-hmm. And this is how we kind of stereotype people. White guy, mm-hmm. And I thought, I know what this guy's going to say, and he did. But he did say that he didn't think they should kneel, but he said he had no problem with them standing up and raising their fist in the air.
Right. I kind of like that better.
I was, and I was surprised. And I thought, you're right. It's a more forceful protest, and that you're saying, I'll stand out of respect, but we have issues.
Right.
We have issues, and there's powers to the people. And I think that the kneeling, I don't know, I guess some guys are kneeling, some guys are standing, and not just guys. I'm sorry. There have been, last week we mentioned the soccer player.
Right, Arian Foster, who's now with the Dolphins. He took a knee. Kaepernick, and then like you said, there are people raising their fists. Among them, Martellus Bennett from New England, player from Kansas City, another player from New England. So, yeah, it's sporadic, but people are letting their voice be heard.
I was surprised with New England, but again, that's the stereotype,
right?
Because Belichick,
but maybe that's why Martellus Bennett only had like 3 or 4 targets.
That's right. That's right. You can kneel if you want to.
Okay. No balls for you.
That's right. And then Brady is a darn
Trump guy.
Yeah. So he's not. He better catch all the balls he can catch now.
Exactly. It's a wrap for Martell. He might get cut.
He may get cut. Like
Brady. Parcells would have cut him.
You're right. You're right. Vince Lombardi would have cut him the next day. Right. But again, can you cut the whole team?
No.
And particularly when most of your team was black. And I think a lot of these things, and we were talking about this before, is predicated upon everybody not doing it.
Right.
If I'm the coach, me punishing somebody is predicated the fact that I think that the rest of y'all are scared.
Right.
And that you're not going to do it. But I think with a lot of these brothers, man, and I think some white athletes too, when they realize that, wait a minute, man, they can't cut all of us.
Right.
Now, they could take each of us individually at individual moments of our contract and fuck us up. But they can't, for the here and now, they can't cut everybody.
Right. And they can't mess with individuals' contracts as a whole. They can't do that to everybody.
Right.
These coaches want to win. That's the bottom line.
They want to win.
They want to win.
Right. And they need Marcellus
political background is. They
right. We don't care if you're kangaroos, if you like whatever it is.
Right.
And so, this protest now. But we were talking before the show about that this is moving all the way down, right?
Right.
In college.
Right, college players, Auburn of all places.
I know, of all
deep in Alabama.
Yeah,
you know
But then you had your boy, what did you say, your boy
Dabo Sweeney, making
what a clown.
Ridiculous comments about Martin Luther King would be rolling in his grave because of the isn't that what he did?
Yeah, I mean, what kind of stupid shit is that? No, he'd be rolling in the grave here. Right. That's stupid shit from you. That's what he'd be, he'd be rolling
rolling in his grave.
Right here. Man, that's why I got murdered.
Right.
Because that's what I did was protest.
Right.
And people say there's no right time. That's like, I think we mentioned in the Boston Tea Party.
Right.
Okay, we're going to call up the the magistrate. So, excuse me, we're going to go and burn down the ship. And at about 12:30, can we get a reservation for this now? And, oh, sure, just come in. There's the teas right over there. And,
right. I mean, the country, that's the perfect point or analogy. I mean, the country was founded on, protest.
The Revolutionary War.
Right. So, I mean, these coaches need to go back to school and study. They have no sense of history.
They study the playbook,
right?
But they don't study the big playbook,
right?
The big playbook is why we are here,
right?
Is what we were founded in revolution. This country was founded in revolution.
And you talk about having kids and I have a young son. One of the things that does Kareem. One of the things that does make me and I thought about it, like, would I want my son playing for a coach like that? And there are so many coaches like that. I want my son, if he's being coached and he's learning, from some institution, he's going to be around this guy all hours of the day. I need somebody who has some sort of social conscience. I mean, that's just me.
Right. And you could be, I think of a guy like Bill Walsh or whatever, and these are all teaching moments no matter what level you're on. So it's like, okay, listen, okay, do you know why you're protesting? Hey, let's find out who Francis Scott Key was. Let's be ahead of this. Let's find out. We're going to do this, and I think the thing is, Jamal, I think that's what we talk about a lot, is that this sports thing, man. It is such a major pillar of American and United States culture, globally, and to not a lot of times people will say. Oftentimes they're women, not all, but well, I don't read sports, I don't know really about sports, but yet their sons are reading sports and their daughters.
Right.
This is a multi-billion-dollar, highly visible industry. Whether you're performing in college or high school, I mean, there are not that many places, even high school, where they're going to be 500, 600, 700, 800, whatever members of the student body at a particular event cheering. I mean, and these people, Arthur Ashe used to always talk about that when he formed the Arthur Ashe Association a long time ago. And the premise was that if you're on these teams, citizenship should be very important, and that you are fluent and that you can speak well,
right?
And that that you do articulate, and that you are, and not only just do you sound good, but you make sense,
right? And most importantly, to the young people you are teaching or coaching, a lot of times they only care about that as far as, can you talk to the boosters, or can you talk to people who are going to give you money, or can you talk to the rest of the school and the fans. But the most important thing is that you can speak to the kids beyond just football.
Oh, absolutely. And then for example, we had Solomon Wilcox on.
Right.
I mean, you listen to this guy, man.
Right.
I mean, this guy is like brilliant.
Right.
And that. I mean, football, obviously, but just life.
Right.
And to me, that's, you look at Kareem, a guy like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That should be the norm.
Right.
Rather, wow, man, these guys, goodness, they could actually think. That should actually be the norm.
Right. And that's what it's supposed to be, right? But obviously, it's not a priority.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we talked about protest. Remember, everybody was hyped up because Pete Carroll was they were gonna do the big deal. They were gonna they were all gonna kneel. They were all gonna show up. They were all. I'm like, so maybe they were just doing it for ratings, I
guess, or Twitter followers. Because when I first saw that on Twitter, and it was early, it was middle of the week, I was like, this kid. If that were true, they leaked it way too early,
way too soon.
Because I knew that once it got out, there's no way that was gonna happen.
Somebody must have got the call. Goodell or somewhere said, "You keep Pete,
right?
You got to be kidding me."
Yeah. And so they end up the rumor was that they were going to take some sort of stand. The whole team was going to kneel or something like that. A friend of mine told me that she got tears in her eyes when she heard that. I'm like, that's not going to happen. But
right.
So what they end up doing is
locking
arms. And to me, that was like a Rodney King. Can we all just get along moment?
Yeah. I mean, they lock arms at the key. Remember, I've seen when there's a critical field goal. All the teams will line up. I mean, and lock arm. I mean,
right.
So who?
Give me a break.
Who can? I wonder if Richard Sherman, because Richard Sherman surprisingly has kind of been not really down with this stuff. I mean, I forget, and I should not speak out of turn because I have not seen everything he said about this, but I don't think he's one of the hard line. No, neither is Russell Wilson for that matter. Although. We were having this debate before. Did we have it on air about Russell Wilson?
Yeah, we did.
Who was that? Who was
it was Deborah?
Oh yeah,
Riley Draper.
Right. Deborah Riley Draper and her doing the
movie, the 1936 Olympics. The other black athletes.
She was really pushed, but we should have her back on the show.
Right. Yeah, grill her again.
The point about this, the protest. I was speaking with Jonathan Rogers. Jonathan Rogers is CEO of Ariel and founder of Ariel Capital. Based in Chicago, a tremendous financial, assets firm, but we were speaking last week, and he was saying, okay, obviously everybody there was down with the protest. This was at the Black Corporate Directors Convention Conference, but he was saying, okay, now, but the next level, and I thought this was really brilliant, that okay, all these athletes. Most of them are affiliated with companies,
right.
Under Armour, Adidas, Nike.
Right.
How many of those firms have black board members, and how many of those firms do business with black vendors? Now, when you start bringing that up, now all of a sudden the company, because they'll say, well, we'll give you shoes and apparel for your little program you sell, but you turn and you look inward. You say, whoa, wait a minute. How many black board members do we have at Adidas or Under Armour? What kind of business do we do with black vendors? And you'll find there's virtually none and virtually no business. That now has to go from the Kaepernick stage of visible protest, now looking at your company and all the people. Not only that, who are major sponsors. Bose, Chevrolet, whatever. Let's look at everybody we do business with who are sponsors, and how many black folks do you have on your board, and how much business do you do with black vendors? That is critically important.
Right. It's and it goes to the money. I mean, that's what really will force change in a hurry. I mean, you look at even with the NCAA, other causes. With the NCAA just pulled out all postseason games from the state of North Carolina. We know the NBA took the All-Star game out of North Carolina because of the bathroom law.
That's right.
Right? So they go straight for the money.
That's right.
And that law is going to change pretty soon, I guarantee you.
Because in any sense of struggle, what you listen to is somebody, ouch.
Right.
Ouch.
Right. You hit them where it hurts. And it just seems like other movements and other people are better at that, or they may obviously they have more support. That's basically what it comes down to. They have more support from the higher ups. The NBA. So Kaepernick has this problem. I don't see the powers that be with the NFL rallying around him, and we're not going to play this game until something is done with the police.
Right.
I don't see that.
Right. Exactly. And so
the players have to take it in their own hands.
See, and I think that what maybe the powers that be are saying, well, here we got these leagues with 60% black guys, 70%, and I think they kind of took it for granted that we're paying them. And we're giving them enough hush money,
right?
That and for a long time it worked because the model was Michael Jordan. It was sort of the Jordan model. That listen, Republicans buy stickers too. Somebody said, yeah, Republicans watch ESPN too.
Oh yeah.
But when you got these people say, wait a minute, man, that could be me out there. I could be Rodney King. I could be Michael Brown. Or my son or my daughter. That could be my kids. That could be us.
Right.
And given the state of the country, it could be you. So they're saying, we better be part of this. We better be part of this struggle because we are part of the struggle. We better acknowledge that we're part of the struggle, and the struggle is not defined by how much money you make.
Right.
That and however much money you make, who's ever paying you is making 20 times as much.
Right.
I mean, think about that.
Right.
So
right. And you have to band together. We talked about this before. It's a bunch of individuals, but more will happen, and really only the change is only going to happen if it's a collective movement, right, where these guys decide, right, to do something that basically shuts down the money and the game. So it's like if a whole bunch of people decided not to play on even one game on a Sunday, that's a whole lot of money. And didn't Bill Russell try to pull that off? In his before an All-Star game, said we weren't going to play.
Yeah, I think it may have been Bill Rhoden, maybe Oscar Robertson. It was when they were talking about, and this is when Oscar was. They were talking. Yeah, they were talking about. It was Oscar. Mm-hmm. It was Oscar. He was they were saying they were having an issue, and they started saying, we may not play.
Right.
And this was like 19. It may have been 1968 or 9 or somewhere around there, and the owners were kind of stunned because they wait a minute. Well, and there's some owners just hang them all or something like that. They said you can't hang them all. you idiot. If you hang them all, there's no game.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Right.
And they said, oh well, maybe sometimes the owners they're always the sharpest. They're not always the sharpest blades in the
right. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't automatically make you a genius. Yeah, even close.
It makes you
ask Trump.
Well, yeah, ask Trump. Yeah, it makes you able to hire smart people.
Right, and maybe not even then. I mean, if you get $1 million loan, I don't want to go into it.
Well, we cannot get that guy.
Yeah, no.
Now, although I think that there's a big storm cloud coming. That a lot of black folks, a lot of folks of color. When we say of color. We really have to really seriously think. In fact, I was thinking, and I just want to be clear about this, is that you got to, if you're an athlete and your company is Under Armour, but you're Steph Curry,
right?
Steph, ask them how many black folks are on that board of Under Armour and how much business do they do with black vendors, not vendors of color, black vendors.
Right.
How many black feet, not people of color? You ask Adidas, Under Armour, Nike, Reebok, whoever I'm forgetting, every single apparel company. You ask them, and then again, go down the list of the vendors. Who does business with the NFL? Bose, whoever. And you go right down the list. Do you have any black board members? What business do you do with black folks? And now you talk about a movement. Now all of a sudden this movement goes beyond, kneeling down or putting your fist in the air, which is good. But now we keep going. Now we're going into the boardroom. Now we're going into, where are you spending your money? I mean, don't just give me apparel for for the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
That I can do that. Who do you have on your board positions of power? And then if they do have black folks, what are you doing? Are you putting pressure on them to do business with black folks? I mean, we really, it's kind of this thing about black folks putting pressure on people who should have our interest at heart. Could be me sitting down, with the sports editor or the executive. I say, listen, there are no black folks. We don't have any black reporters in sports, or we don't have, wherever you are, if you're a partner at a law firm,
right,
or whatever, say, where are the black folks? And you're right. They say, well, man, if I do that, well, that's why they call it sacrifice.
Right.
That's why they call it struggle.
Right, and that's why it takes a group effort, because one person sticking his neck out, you could get it chopped off. Right. And we've seen that with some guys like Brandon Marshall, the linebacker from Denver. He's been taking a knee since the first game of the season, and he got two of his endorsements. Two companies left him that he was endorsing. So it's almost like they want to put this chilling effect on people, right, so everybody else sees what's going on here. And he's a solid player, but I don't. It's almost like the guys who could afford to do it more are the bigger stars, and they seem to be the ones that are more scared to do it. Right. Because if it's Cam Newton, I'm not trying to single out Cam Newton. It's a personal decision, but I'm just, for example, Cam Newton, if he were to do that, I don't think they still want your endorsement, right? Because you're Cam Newton.
Exactly. And again, I think we talked about this before, that money is supposed to empower you, but sometimes it seems like it makes you weak because you don't want to lose it,
right?
But money, she said, man, if you're Cam or if you're Russell Wilson,
right,
if you're, what are they going to do?
Right.
And if there's a group of you, what are they going to do?
Yeah, especially if there's a group of you. They can't because you are the league.
Right.
Period. Right. We want the fans. Everybody wants to see the best players. We know who they are. And if you're not involved, it's not the game anymore. It's almost like the Major League Baseball when there were the Negro Leagues. Like you weren't really seeing the best baseball.
Right.
And eventually that caved in because people want to see the best.
Right. And, it's going to be interesting when we go into the NBA season. That's going to be really interesting.
Right.
To find out.
And speaking of that, I saw a report, Victor Oladipo saying that he expected there'd be plenty of players not standing for the national anthem in the NBA.
See, that'd be interesting. I think in the NBA,
it's a rule.
It's a rule.
Right.
So now, boy, you're talking about the shit flying now.
Right.
It's okay. So what are we gonna do? What are you gonna tell the teams? What are we gonna do? We're gonna just fine everybody. We're gonna not play. What I mean.
And the NBA is a different beast because it's looked at as a more liberal outfit.
We know about liberals, right? Sometimes that can be your worst enemy is the one that you let in your living room.
So we'll see what happens there. But the Players Association is definitely for real when it comes to Michelle Roberts and we've spoken to her personally. We know how she feels about certain things. She's even spoke out about this issue a couple places. So they're not going to back down. So it'll be interesting to see when the NBA season comes. And
again, though, in fact, I spoke to Michelle last week at this same event about these kinds of things, about a number of things. And her question was good. Well, it could be the lack of black board members, the lack of black reporters or whatever. And then they say, okay, and if you don't change, we are going to do what? And I think that's the issue. And if it doesn't happen, we are going to do what? And I think that's, you got to kind of come up with that. We're going to do what? Before we go, there's and this kind of leads into what we're talking about is historic struggle. And next week in Washington, D.C., there's going to be a monumental opening. The National Museum of African American History and Culture is going to be opening in Washington, D.C. It's just a major thing. Lonnie Bunch should get a lot of people should get a lot of credit, but Lonnie Bunch is going to be the director of the museum. Should get a lot of praise. And I'm honored and fortunate there's a book that is going to accompany the opening. The book is called The Dream a World Anew. And I wrote, one of the essays they've got different aspects of it. I wrote the sports essay of it. And I knew, I want to be part of it. I want to get an invitation. But long after the opening is done, the book is going to be there. And it was really great to have an essay in there. But it's all about struggle. Everything that black folks do in this country, I mean, you talk about, that's what Arthur Ashe's thing, a hard road to glory. I mean, every inch, man, it's not been an inch. It's not been, right. You talk about a struggle, man, and again, I talk to all, our brothers and sisters who are, come from different parts of the country, and they say, well, my dad was an immigrant here. Yeah, but this is a country of immigrants. Black folks are the only people came here against their will.
Right.
I mean, which is just a reality and doesn't make a bit, but it's been a struggle, man. And so the museum is opening, and it's so great that it's opening at this time when you do have this struggle, because that's our feel good moment of struggle.
Right.
We feel
you got to embrace it. You have no choice.
Yeah, when we're struggling, we feel good.
Right. And I'll definitely check that out in D.C. You got to make a point to get down there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's going to be the opening, I believe, is the 24th or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. Well, look, this has been great, Jamal Murphy, Murph, Jay Murph. Yeah, Jay Murph. That's just Murph and Rhoden. If you're trying to get numbers, I just do it like that. Like what's the ESPN in the morning show? Mike.
Yeah, very. So I guess you got to be very simple.
Yeah,
Bill Rhoden On Sports might be too complicated for some people.
Yeah. Hey, man, listen, it's always a pleasure. Glad we could squeeze this one in.
Yeah, no question. A lot going on. Week 2 coming up. Like you said, we'll be at Giant Stadium, Giants Saints next week. So we'll be talking about that. Our next podcast will be more football. It's football season. That's what we do. And follow Bill at WC Rhoden on Twitter. Follow me at Black Catologist. Follow the show at BROSpod. Listen to the show, rate the show on iTunes and SoundCloud and all that good stuff. We got momentum, got more listeners every day.
Thank you, JJ Redick.
Thank you, JJ Redick. Check that podcast out. JJ Redick had Bill on and had a great conversation about a whole bunch of things. Definitely a must listen. So we will see you next week for the next version of Bill Rhoden On Sports. We'll probably have a guest.
Which we look on the car. In fact, that's why Jamal signed up, because I got to go and get this car.
Yeah, go get a new car, man. So you make it to Giant Stadium. That's a big. It's not, it's kind of far. It's in Jersey, so we gotta figure out a way to get there with all the equipment and all that stuff. But we will see you next week on Bill Rhoden On Sports. Have a good weekend.